talk about some topics in Islamic philosophy that uh, many Westerners are not very familiar with, and they kind of apply to our times. There is a verse in Quran. It goes like this: God is saying, "Believe in me, and you will not know sorrow and fear." And so these two things, fear and sorrow, are the works of Satan, which means that the evil wants to work on humanity, destroy their joy or happiness or bliss or communion with God by fear, by sorrowing over things of the world. Actually, there is another saying in the Bible. Jesus was saying that not to sorrow over the things of the world, like how something is falling apart. I'm spending all my time sorrowing for it because it destroys my serenity, my peace. Then, well, there is some other topics in Quran that they goes over it many times. Is that Quran is saying that this world really does have owner, does have someone that it belongs to, like Elohim really owns humanity, owns whatever we do, and if we anger him, if we anger God, things can really go down. So there is some chapters or verses in Quran that talks about that there has been many civilizations that have prospered, there had been periods of prospering, and then they committed sins, they committed fasad is the word that Quran uses, is corruption. And they angered God, and God destroyed them. So many people they don't accept that they are not in charge. For example, in each society, there is like a group of people, the elite, that they make all the decisions and about money and how things should run, and they don't really believe that there is a consciousness, a higher consciousness that is on top of them or has dominion over them. This concept is very offensive to many societies or elites, to think that there is divinity, and really the divinity is the one that tells them what to do, and if they disobey, they're gonna get their asses kicked. Oh, well, you see this in all of Old Testament, in the Quran, that societies, they challenge the prophets and saviors, and usually in Quran and also in Old Testament and New Testament, what many of these messiahs or prophets they would do, they would bring a miracle, something that the elite would be very hard pressed to replicate such a miracle. Oh, I was listening to a story about the Prophet Saleh, which is mentioned in Quran, and he had miracles that would be almost impossible to replicate such a thing. Well, Jesus had his own miracles, like he raised the dead, or somebody who was born blind, given back his sight. Well, then this this is like a slap in the face on what many societies believe, that their intellectual, their elites, their culture, their political leadership is the ultimate, and they make the rules. Following these rules is really the great thing to do, and will bring out salvation, which is not true. So there is all this struggle goes on throughout history, and we see that God destroyed many civilizations. I mean, in a lot of churches they talk about the wrath of God. But it sounds like some kind of mythological concept, but it's not. It's real. The wrath of God is real. It's a thing that happened. Well, then there is some beliefs in Muslim religion that whoever or whatever country or government kills Muslims, that they are totally doomed, that their civilization and the totally the political entity that was such a government it is going to completely either explode or implode, or somebody is going to knock them out. Well, you can see this with the American society and American government. For many years, they had all these drones operating in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, and they used a bit of extra technology that they had to hover overhead and then shoot down or kill anybody that they didn't like. And they did it by with the Iranian generals, and they really got their slap in the face, and they got their CIA chief killed. Well, then, really, this brings out us to a discussion: is there a divinity that would punish evildoers, people who engage in fear mongering, create wars? Do they get their asses kicked? Well, the Sufi master said, when the punishment comes in, and the people they are so disconnected, they can't see that, hey, this punishment is the consequence of what I did or what we did in the past. For example, the complete implosion in U.S. economy, they don't see that, hey, this is connected to all the wars that we set out, or the fact that we are going to get kicked out from every country in the world is related to us practicing bioterrorism and creating bioweapons. The people, they cannot add the two and the two together, so that, hey, this is the punishment. And then also another problem that many people have is to realize that, hey, there is a God, there is a divinity. But this concept is very difficult to grasp, because in our daily life we only interact with each other, and it's hard for people to realize that, hey, there is a spirit that governs everything. Another concept, the idea that Quran and Old Testament it goes over a lot, is that there has been many civilizations. Many of them were very prosperous, very smart. You can see their inventions, their works. You could go to megalithic sites, and they were nothing less than us in many ways. And they got ruined. Things went wrong. Many spiritual paths, they talk about when society deviates from moral code, moral code seems to be very important to this higher divinity, and when a group or a country deviates to a significant extent from this moral code, then things really go wrong. We can see this in American society that is fragmenting, it becoming a feudal system. There's all these different parts. Each of them are very empowered, and each one of them are doing very strange, destructive things. For example, I was listening to Alex Jones, and he was saying that Dr. Fauci was working with the Gates Foundation, with Obama administration, and they developed this virus. I don't know what else they were doing, and they patented the coronavirus, which is, they were really developing the coronavirus, and they kind of contracted the work to labs outside of the United States, and then they did some other things, and then U.S. military came in and took it to Wuhan, and then the Chinese either found out or didn't, or were part of it or not, or they were studying it or not, and then it escaped, and then now it's here. Well, you know, it's kind of like Alex Jones is trying to kind of piece together a sequence of events that went out and now it's back here. Like a lot of people have difficulty seeing that, hey, the mess that we are in because of coronavirus had something to do with the works and the evil things that we did in the Obama administration, and now it has come back here. Another concept or idea is very strange, but you hear it in Sufi circles, is that the whole universe is nothing but a simulation in the mind of God. And I was I found it very strange. I was sitting in a lecture by Sufi master, and I was hearing the Sufi master in the middle of his lecture. He was telling everybody every detail of my personal life, like from 50 years ago all the way. I mean, then I was wondering with myself how this person knows all these things. How things that that only my mother knows, like some psychic knows. You know what I mean? It's like they tap in to some cosmic computer into its memory and fetch out all these details about Hassan. Well, it kind of proves that the universe is a simulation, and we are all happening in God's mind. And by looking at the past, how things went wrong, we can see that civilizations end when the moral code breaks down, and this simulation then restarts again with different kinds of nation, with different people who have a strong adherence to moral code. Well, I don't expect my audience to understand everything I say, and if you did, you should congratulate yourself and try to get your own PhD or become the Grand Ayatollah yourself. But thank you. I'm hoping my audience, number of my audience and views will improve. But I'm in a very big minority. Most of my work is really a record of what I think, or it's like a very obscure academician publishes something in a math journal, in a physics journal. You know, it's just marking times. Thank you very much.